So, when you think of Switzerland, what's the first thing that pops into your head? It's probably peace, right? Neutrality, maybe some amazing chocolate or a fancy watch. But what if I told you that the Switzerland we know today wasn't built on peace talks, but on the battlefield by some of the most ferocious warriors in European history?
Yeah, that's the big question we're diving into. It's a story that pretty much flips the script on everything you thought you knew about this country. So, how on earth did that happen? Let's get into it.
To understand this, we've got to go way, way back, deep into the heart of the European Alps. Just picture it, small, isolated mountain villages, living under this constant, looming threat from huge, powerful empires that wanted to swallow them whole.
For years, these communities were totally vulnerable, kind of like sitting ducks. But then, in 1291, everything changed. 3 of these regions got tired of living in fear and decided to do something, well, something brand new.
They teamed up. They formed a defensive pact, basically an I've got your back if you've got mine kind of deal. These 3 founding members, Uri, Schwitz, and Unterwalden, created the very first version of the Swiss Confederation. It was a simple idea, but boy, was it going to be a game changer.
And this was their entire promise. It wasn't some long, complicated treaty. It was a simple, powerful oath. We will stand together no matter what. That single idea became the foundation, the very bedrock of a whole new nation being born right there in the mountains.
But here's the crazy part. This little alliance didn't just hang on. It exploded, and it built its reputation on being anything but peaceful.
You see, these mountain people were tough, like seriously tough, disciplined and absolutely fearless. They went up against the giant armies of empires like the Habsburgs, and they won. Their reputation for raw courage just spread like wildfire across Europe, and soon, Swiss soldiers were the most respected and the most feared mercenaries you could hire.
Then comes the year 1515. This is a year that changes absolutely everything. After centuries of winning, the Swiss suffer a massive, catastrophic defeat at the Battle of Marignano. The loss was so brutal, so shocking, it forced them to stop and completely rethink who they were.
Just look at this transformation. It's a complete 180. They basically traded in their swords for plowshares, and it was a smart, deliberate choice. After seeing the absolute horror of that battle, they collectively just said, you know what, we're done. They turned their back on fighting other people's wars and started the policy of neutrality that defines them to this day. Okay, so that pivot towards peace was a huge first step. But the next step was turning this loose collection of allies into a single, unified, modern country. Let's fast forward now, over 300 years. After centuries of carefully guarding their neutrality, the Swiss were ready to make it official. The year is 1848, and this is the moment modern Switzerland is truly born.
In 1848, they did 3 huge things. First, they adopted a federal constitution. This officially brought all 26 cantons or regions together as one federal state. And, crucially, it set up the system of direct democracy that they're so famous for now, giving regular citizens a real say in how their country is run.
So, how did this new identity hold up under pressure? Well, it got the ultimate test. During the absolute chaos of World War I and World War II, when the entire continent was tearing itself apart, Switzerland held firm. It remained that silent, safe valley in a world totally consumed by war.
So let's bring it to today. What is the legacy of that simple promise made in the Alps all those hundreds of years ago? How does that wild history shape the Switzerland we see right now?
Well, it all connects back. That dedication to peace and direct democracy we just talked about, it created incredible stability. And that stability allowed for a booming economy, making Switzerland a world hub for banking and technology. And of course, when you have all that peace and prosperity, you've got plenty of time to perfect things like chocolate and watches, right?
When you step back and look at it, it is an absolutely amazing journey. To go from a small group of mountain communities banding together just to survive to becoming a stable, prosperous, global symbol of peace, that right there is the story of Switzerland.
Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a world that feels more chaotic and divided than ever, you really have to wonder, is the Swiss model of neutrality, a model born from the ashes of a terrible war, actually more relevant today than it's ever been?